Hi, Justin Aquino here, public speaking and communication coach in New York City. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I want to talk about articulation, being articulate. This is an interesting challenge that I've seen with a number of clients, and what's interesting is it seems to be very common, more common among creative people, makers, designers, product developers. And at first, I wasn't quite sure what to make of it. I was just kind of going through my normal coaching process, helping my clients improve. And then at some point, I took a step back and I was like, what's really going on here? What I realized is that creative people that are immersed 8, 10, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week in the creative process, they are in a tactile mode. So they're really exercising that part of their brain that is all about building and measuring and designing things, but they're not exercising the vocal part of their brain. And so it seems kind of weird that you've been working on this product or you've been designing this collection for weeks or months and you've been putting a lot of work into it, and yet when presentation time comes, you're like stumbling over your words. You can barely get a sentence out. And it can be extremely frustrating because this is your world, this is your life, this is your work, and yet you can't even talk about it. So it seems totally weird. And other people may be like, dude, what's going on? Like, why is this such a hard thing for you? Like, this is your project, isn't it? Like, you've been working really hard on this for a long time. And so there's a lot of frustration that can come about because of that. Totally understandable. But when you realize that it's just a function of practice, all of a sudden you realize, hey, you know what? I'm not even working on this skill. Like, I'm designing things and I'm building things with my hands, and that's great, but I'm not actually exercising my verbal presentation skills. You know, the practice and the rehearsal is so critical, and it's something that I really emphasize in my coaching programs. Guided practice, practicing the right things, super important. And there's a couple things that I tend to focus on with my clients that are struggling with just articulation. Actually articulating the words and getting the words out to describe their creation or to describe their product or their design or whatever it is. The first is very, very simple, okay? So I'm going to make your life extremely simple right now. Narrate what you see, okay? Super important. Super powerful, but also super simple. So here's an example. I have a glass of water here, right? Now, if I wanted to describe this, if I'm not articulate, it's like it's a glass of water, and yeah, it's water, right? Kind of awkward, kind of uncertain. But if I just really take a moment to look at it and I just narrate what I see, then I can say, this is a strong, sturdy plastic glass of water. The water is about 1/3 full. Clear water, healthy. Water is a great drink. Obviously, it's necessary for life. The great thing about this cup is that it has a smooth, flat surface. You can put it on any surface. It's circular, as you can see. It's about 4 inches tall. It's very convenient to hold in your hand. It's great for anyone who just wants a quick drink of water in the course of your day, and so on and so forth, right? I mean, now that is pretty much the simplest, most boring product that you could possibly present, and yet all I'm doing is just narrating it. And then by simply describing what I see, the colors, the shape, the textures of it, it becomes sort of fluent, right? It becomes actually doable for me to actually present that product. So the second thing is, as you're narrating and as you are speaking and describing the product, think about and visualize who's actually going to be using this product. Who's using it, and what are they using it for? So I started to do that a little bit. If you notice with the glass of water, it's good for anybody who's going about their working day and who wants to get a drink of water, whatever. I mean, if you're designing stationery, or you're designing a candle, or you're designing a jacket or a pair of pants, who's the market for it? Who's the demographic? Is it a woman from age 50 to 60? Is it a man from age 21 to 28? Where in the country are they? What's the occasion for purchasing the gift? Is it a wedding gift? Is it a gift for their spouse because they just had an argument and they want to make up? Is it back to school? Maybe it's a back to school backpack and it's great for girls 15 to 18, and they want to stand out when they have a really interesting design backpack. Whatever the context might be. But you have to break it down into a very simple process, okay? And then practice. And don't get down on yourself and don't get frustrated if you're just not someone who is naturally very articulate or very fluent in the way you speak. Happens to many people, especially in creative fields. So understand that it's normal, but the practice is the most important thing. All right, practice consistently and keeping it very simple and straightforward for yourself. Practice over and over. That's how you're going to really get good. So hope that was helpful. Hopefully you learned a few things. What do you think? Do you have these kinds of challenges in terms of articulating a product or a design that you personally have worked on? I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment, reach out to me. If you're in New York City, definitely, or in the New York area, definitely reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk more and meet you for a coffee. If you're having communication challenges at work, you're trying to speak more assertively, you're trying to speak with more articulation, I'm always happy to chat and discuss more. If you see potential for your team, if you're a manager, if you see someone on your team that needs help with these kinds of skills, I'd be happy to share some ideas as well. All right, so once again, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.